click that next button. Don't even think about clicking on a different podcast, because that is Zephyr Weird is here to bring you a wealth of knowledge today.
Welcome back to the show. We got another great episode. Today we're going to be kind of mixing it up. We're going to be talking about cryptids today. We have a guest on who's going to be helping us with this show. His name is Ty. He's an author of a new book that's coming out June 10th by the name of Monstrous. It kind of covers Bigfoot and Yeti, I believe, but there's probably going to be some more stuff in there. Ty, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. My name's Ty. I'm an author. Debut novel Monstrous drops on June 10th. I've been podcasting and things of that nature for the last 3 or so years. Got podcasted with the Cult of Campbell, which is a Bruce Campbell themed podcast. I got to host with Bruce Campbell, so that was pretty big. And then the Cult Talk Conspiracy podcast, my friend Bailey, we did about 200 episodes of that.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of on ice for a while while we focus on other endeavors. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I've always been interested in cryptids. I always like to be involved with something, creative, to keep myself distracted from the 9-to-5 grind. So I always like to have some sort of creative outlet.
Yeah. No, I think we all understand that one.
Absolutely.
But hey, let's get right into this. It's going to be a little bit of a Q&A for the audience members. Ty's going to be kind of telling us a little bit about his background, why he's into these cryptids, and maybe shed a little bit of light on some cryptids, maybe some things that we didn't know. So, hey, Ty, what first got you interested in Bigfoot specifically, and then maybe some other cryptids?
Yeah, so I'm from Southern Ohio, pretty rural where I come from. I live in the city now, so I don't really have much forest or anything around me now. But growing up, just going in the creeks and the hills and things of that nature in the Southern Ohio. And we have, where I come from, it's called the Grass Man is what it's called. And it's like a Bigfoot type cryptid it's like the boogeyman. So whenever you're out too late or you do something that your grandma doesn't want you to do, it's the Grass Man's going to get you. So that was really my first introduction to cryptids. I didn't really know what cryptids were at the time, but that's the oldest memory I have of any sort of monster or boogeyman was the Grass Man. So as I grew up and kind of learned more about it, it's just Bigfoot. It's just what people in Southern Ohio call Bigfoot, because he has very shaggy hair, looks kind of like a man in a ghillie suit is kind of the best description for it. So that's where it comes from, the Grass Man. But at a very young age, my dad introduced me to the Unsolved Mysteries and X-Files.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's really where I got into it, yeah. X-Files, all-time favorite show. I doubt there's a week or two that goes by without me watching, an episode, and I'm always hunting VHS tapes and random old X-Files collectibles and stuff from my office. So, but yeah, the Unsolved Mysteries terrified me when I was a kid. The UFO and Bigfoot episodes, they were so creepy that analog, kind of low quality, just the presentation of it just terrified me when I was a kid. So,
a fun fact about Unsolved Mysteries is that they had a Bigfoot episode, and the costume that they used for that Bigfoot episode was the same costume in Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that. Yeah, because I have a DVD I bought a couple years ago off eBay, and it's just the UFO and the Bigfoot segments from Unsolved Mysteries on it. It's just a compilation thing that I think I'm pretty sure it's bootleg. I don't think it's official, but I found it on eBay and I had to get it because that's just what I have memories of as a kid, is always being so transfixed by the Bigfoot and UFO episodes.
Now, I don't know. Again, I have not seen that episode specifically. I think I was watching it was the behind the scenes of the making of Unsolved Mysteries and the things that they did with it. I don't know if you watch that episode, if you can tell it's the same costume or not. I never really looked into it. I just kind of took it for what it was. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure that it was the same costume. I would say that pretty much the same thing as you, Ty. My first experience with cryptids and everything was the Bigfoot, besides aliens. I feel like aliens was prior to Bigfoot, but it really like talking cryptids and everything, it was Bigfoot. And there's always that lore and that mystery behind that creature. I always thought it was very fascinating too. So the fact that you were able to, write a book about all this stuff, I find that really awesome and fascinating.
Yeah, it's really like the book is like a story I've had for so long. Like when I was a teenager, me and my friends, we made like backyard movies and things like that. Schlocky horror films that we just record with our video cameras, and that's where this idea came from initially. It was like I was probably like 16 or 17, I think. And I came up with an idea. I was like, oh, let's put one of my friends in a Bigfoot costume, another one of my friends in like a Yeti costume, just have them like fight. Like that was like just the baseline concept of it. And it never came to be, but something that always stuck with me for some reason, just that base idea of like a Bigfoot and a Yeti. Because when you hear descriptions of them, they're very similar, like surface level. But when you start like going into like the mythology, they're two totally different things.
Do you mind kind of going into that, like the differences between the two, especially for our audience members who aren't maybe familiar with the difference of the Yeti and the Bigfoot?
Yeah. So if you look at like the Yeti, it's got like kind of like a mythical structure to it. It's from Nepal, so Himalayan mountains, Southeast Asia, all that. That's where it comes from. And there's a lot of like religious aspects to it, and there's like rumors of it having like healing abilities. And a very interesting like ability I read about was the Russian Yeti. Are you guys familiar with the Dyatlov Pass?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we actually did an episode on Dyatlov Pass.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's like the Russian Yeti is like something that people kind of bring in the conversation when they're looking at like theories and kind of ideas of what could have happened there. And one of the ideas I read that really stuck with me was the idea of the Russian Yeti having this ability called infrasound, which is this sound that is produced. It's like below our hearing abilities, but it's like damaging to us. Like you would be hit by it, but you wouldn't really hear it per se, but you would feel all the effects of it. It's a very powerful sound that get trapped in your head.
Very.
There was even a story of like another Dyatlov Pass incident, like years after the original. Like that, I think this one was like a more recent one, where kind of a similar thing happened where some hikers went to the area and there was some misfortune. And I think one of the hikers died, but they all made it back. But when they talked about the hiker that didn't make it, like they came back to the story that like he kind of just like went insane, like bashed his head on a rock. Like that was like the story they came back with. And this could all just be like a creepypasta that I read online. And you never know. You know what I mean? Like you don't know, but that resonated with me. But then you look at like the Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot is just a very much an American-made monster. Like everything about it, it's the Native American lore that surrounds it. A lot of different tribes in America have different ideas of what these things are. They can be protectors, or they can be like vengeful spirits of Mother Nature, like just different things they could be. And they also there are some like supernatural elements you can find, especially on the West Coast. You can find like near like the Mount Shasta region, a lot of theories that these things are like interdimensional beings. If you want to get like really deep in like the fringy elements of it, there are people that think these are like beings that can like travel interdimensionally, because people will talk about when they're in the presence of one of these things.
Personally, what do you think? Do you believe Bigfoot is more of a biological creature? Are we talking supernatural being? What do you think?
I've always thought of Bigfoot myself as being just like a more physical being. But that's not to say I do really enjoy and like to explore the idea of it being much more than that, because there's so many wild ideas around Bigfoot. Talking about the interdimensional thing, people always talk about how why isn't there like a clear image of a Sasquatch, especially now with all of us having our iPhones and GoPros and IRL streamers wandering around. Why isn't someone picked up at least a good picture of Bigfoot, not since the Patterson-Gimlin stuff? The idea is that these things, if they are these interdimensional beings, say you see one, you pull out your phone, and people have reported that they see them and their mobile devices, electronic devices kind of, become distorted and have interference. So that could possibly be like an explanation. Like you go take a picture of a Bigfoot, but it's some kind of interdimensional being that, distorts your phone, and now you don't have that photo.
So for our audience members who have been listening for a while, know that I believe personally that exactly what you're saying is true, where Bigfoot is either an interdimensional being or like an alien pet. And I'll tell you why, is because whenever there is a Bigfoot sighting, or typically where there's Bigfoot sightings, you also have UFO sightings. Another good example of this, and I don't know how familiar you are with it, is the Skinwalker Ranch. Now, I know there's that TV show, I think on the Discovery or the History Channel right now. It's your classic, true TV type thing where it doesn't look real and it's a little, everything looks fabricated. But there's an actual book that was made, I think, or written in the 90s about NIDS, who is I forgot what NIDS stands for. I think it's like the National Institute of Discovery Science. Doesn't matter what it stands for, but
okay, that's right.
Nevertheless, they went to Skinwalker Ranch and did all these investigations and all this video and everything. That was one of the things that was brought up, was that these researchers were like on this plateau or this hilltop, and at just the right angle, like this dimension opened up and a creature had come out, kind of in the description of like Bigfoot, and then the portal had closed. It's a really good read. Skinwalker Ranch.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I found that to be kind of true, and I don't know why. It's just something that I believe, is that I feel like that could be it, because again, we don't find any remains of Bigfoot, or I mean, what was it? I think it was like a year or two ago. There was some guy who claimed that he did find like a Bigfoot bone or a skull. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I recall that. Yeah, I know it because it was pretty hot for a while, and it kind of just went away.
Yes, yeah. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like that's why I kind of believe that, is because again, there's not much evidence or remains of any sort of Bigfoots, but there's so many sightings and different things about it. And almost like what you brought up too, like every place has their own kind of version of the Bigfoot. I think like down in Florida, they call it like the skunk ape.
Yep, you got the skunk ape.
Oh.
yeah, it's a weird name, but that's what they call it. But they all kind of fit the description of the Bigfoot.
There's a very interesting like theory I read about the like southern sect of Bigfoots. You'll notice like a lot of times in like the western corridor of the United States is kind of like Bigfoot Mecca, the hotspot for Bigfoot sightings. And even a lot of the sightings that you'll find in the Pacific Northwest are pretty tame. Like it's, people see something walking through the woods and they get a picture or whatever it may be. Maybe someone gets a stone thrown at them, whatever, but they're pretty tame. But then if you look in the southern United States, the stories like Boggy Creek is a good one, of this like Bigfoot creature like actively invading people's homes and killing livestock and chasing people down. Yeah, the legend of Boggy Creek. So like in the 70s when it was happening, like that was what was happening. Like people would be like in their house watching TV, and then all of a sudden like they would claim a Bigfoot arm just like burst through their window and try to grab them.
I've never heard that story before.
Really?
No.
Oh man. So you have these stories like that were taking place in the southern United States. So the idea is that the reason you have this difference of the peaceful kind of mundane Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest, and you have these like aggressive monster-like creatures in the South, like the skunk ape, is because of development. Where we as humans have built cities and highways and have industrialized. We've created these barriers where these once thriving Bigfoot populations are no longer able to intermingle. They're no longer we've disrupted like mating patterns. So the southern Bigfoot are a much smaller population than what you would see in the Pacific Northwest. So because of that, this smaller population has had to resort to inbreeding. And you can even find like inbreeding when that happens, you don't come out correct, so you'll have a heightened aggression.
Yeah.
Maybe not as intelligent, but an interesting thing too is like the 5-digit footprints you find in the Pacific Northwest. Very human-like, very natural. But a common thing for the southern Bigfoot is these deformed like 3-toed footprints that people will find, or 4-toed footprints, even 6-toed footprints people have claimed to find.
And that would be the inbreeding giving us those deformities.
Correct.
That makes sense. See, I like this theory, but I've kind of become enamored with the theory that Bigfoot is kind of like an envoy from outer space, from another civilization out there. And the fact that we don't know where it lives or what his habits are is because it just pops in and out of either Earth or our realm or whatever. And when it wants to be seen, it is seen. But when it's just not on an Earth mission, I guess. I think we talked about this last time. We talked about Bigfoot and cryptids. And was it Seth that mentioned that Bigfoot could be an envoy from another civilization? And I've just loved this theory since then. I kind of see the way you describe it as more of a species that those two different behaviors could be explained by just its own path of evolution between inbreeding and being more secluded in nature.
There's a very good documentary I watched. I think if you guys haven't seen it, I think you guys would really enjoy it. It's called A Flash of Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Flash of Beauty. No, I'm gonna have to write that down.
It's on Prime. It is an incredible documentary. It's a Sasquatch documentary, but it talks a lot about the like interdimensional idea of Bigfoot and Bigfoot being able to basically kind of dictate who sees it. Like it's such a powerful creature that it could be right in front of you, but if it deems you unworthy of presenting eyes on it, it can just go right through, like impassable. Mm-hmm. So
that's interesting.
Super.
I wish I had that power. I would be so productive at work.
That's what I miss about the pandemic is the masks. I miss those. 'Cause I would love to, like, I like to be able to go to a store and like if I saw somebody I didn't really want to talk to, I had the mask. I'd walk by, they wouldn't even know it was me. I miss that part of it.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you're the first person I think I've ever heard say that you miss the masks. I mean, if you want to wear one, go for it. I don't care.
It was like a cloaking device. I was like a predator. I just like put it on, it just disappeared. It was nice. But no, it is a beautiful documentary. And people talk about in there these orbs that people will see, and it's kind of like an idea of like that being like either a like a byproduct or an off-put of these things going in and out of dimensions, that these like kind of energy orbs people will claim to see like in the vicinity of Bigfoot or in an area where they just saw Bigfoot. They'll see these kind of weird glowing orbs. It's like I said, it's an amazing documentary. I always mention it anytime I have a chance to, because it's like a beautiful film too.
Interesting. Well, we'll definitely check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Next kind of question that I have for you is, do you do any sort of Bigfoot research or anything like that now?
Not really. I mean, I haven't done like field work like that, but when I did Cult Talk Conspiracy with my friend Bailey, we, that was part of the experiences, researching things. And I did like a 3-part Bigfoot thing where I tried to like catalog all the different Bigfoots all over the United States. So that was pretty extensive and very wild, like seeing all these different types of creatures. But I haven't done like field work. I remember once when I was a teenager, like me and my buddies went in quotation Bigfoot hunting, where we just went in the woods and kind of like hung out one night, and like that was Bigfoot hunting, Yeah. But that was about the extent of that. I've always wanted to do to go out to the Pacific Northwest and just like, because I know there's like Bigfoot tours and things like that, and it's kitschy and touristy, I'm sure, but I still think it'd be fun just to like do just to be in the Pacific Northwest, because that place just holds a special place in my heart because of how much Bigfoot means to me, like that idea of cryptids. So I always would just love to like do that.
Speaking of the Pacific Northwest, probably like 10 years ago, there was a herd of buffalo. Like I don't know if you've seen this video, there's a herd of buffalo that are like going across this field, and buffalo are pretty big, but there's like a creature that's behind, like even kind of like further in the distance, but it's as big or bigger than the buffalo. And there's, I want to say like there's 2 of them. I'll try to find the video as we're talking, and I'll try to post it in one of the channels, maybe like the Weird Things Across the Internet. I'll post it in there so you guys can take a look at it. But no, I think just speaking about like Bigfoot research and everything, like I just don't know where you would start. For instance, ghost hunting. I feel like that's a good, stepping block. Like you kind of know where to go, because people will be like, all right, this house is haunted, Yeah. But with like Bigfoot hunting, that's really just like a shot in the dark. You really don't like, you can kind of guess like the region or like the state, but besides that, it's like it's going to take you probably a really, really long time to like, find any sort of evidence So I think you really have to be dedicated to the cause to actually do Bigfoot hunting and everything.
Yeah, like you have these guys like Lyle Blackburn. He's a Bigfoot researcher I really like the Rob Zombie of cryptozoology. I think is kind of like his shtick is. He's like the metal cowboy of cryptid hunting. But him, like Jeff Meldrum, who like brings such like an air of professionalism and prestige to cryptozoology. Like these guys are like constantly at it, and like they've kind of made a career out of this. You have people like that who are out there doing these things, and Matt Moneymaker for what he's worth, his Finding Bigfoot show. But I mean, you have these guys who like professionally do it, and I think that's very interesting. People have made careers out of it. But yeah, I think just to go out and hunt Bigfoot, it's like you can. Is it just you would just step out into any plot of woods, just hope that you come across one of these things because it's
that's what it sounds like, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, I guess it would be kind of like trying to get the jump on like a sighting, like someone reports they see a Bigfoot, and it's like you just go that area immediately and hope that you are able to catch it before it leaves or where it may be. But the whole idea is always like floated around in like the cryptozoology circles is like that there'll never be definitive proof of a Bigfoot until someone kills a Bigfoot. Like that's kind of like the first step in any species being validated is when you can present a actual real life corpse to science. They can dissect and study and classify. And I've always heard that like forever. That's like the only way it would ever be determined. Like I would just rather it be this myth and this legend that people talk about and see. I don't necessarily like the idea of just killing something.
What if we kill the only friendly specimen?
Right, exactly. Like Harry and Henderson, you killed Harry, and like now it's like there's no more. But yeah, I've always heard that story. It's like that concept, like that's the only way that you can prove. So I know there's like guys like I can't remember the names, but there's like a Bigfoot hunting group in I think Colorado or Washington State, and that's like their shtick. They're out to kill Bigfoot to preserve the species. Like
that's sad. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I remember when I was it was like right after I graduated, it's like 2010 or so. There was like a big news story about these guys who found a Bigfoot body, and they had it in a freezer, like a chest freezer, and like it was like major news, like Fox News, CNN, all that. Like it was everywhere, like the radio, TV, everyone had it. And it's weird because like no one really talks about it anymore, but for like that like week, it was like everywhere because they had pictures. They supposedly sent DNA samples. They had this like prominent Bigfoot researcher. He was like the voice of it. Like he flew there and validated it, and then it ended up being like a monkey suit filled with roadkill. I think was what it turned out to be. But,
oh come on, they didn't even try.
No,
come on, guys.
And like they had all these like stories of like they stumbled upon it. Like they didn't kill it. They stumbled upon it and they loaded it out. They had to like carry it like miles out of the woods, and like the whole time like dozens of Bigfoot were like trailing them, and like they had to like evade all these different creatures they was getting out. Like it was a big thing, and they were like telling people they were going to bring like they were going to do expeditions into this territory, and it was like a really hot thing for a minute, and it turned out to be that. But
well, so something two things really. Okay, so first off, I found the video. It's Yellowstone National Park, so my bad for messing that piece up. Yeah, if you go to Weird Things Across the internet, the one with the little alien head on it, there's a video in there, and that's the video. I'll let you guys watch it. It's only like 40 seconds.
I've seen this one, yeah.
For the audience members, again, Yellowstone National Park. I think if you were to type in Yellowstone National Park, Buffalo, Bigfoot, you might be able to find it as well. It looks legit. It's one of those things where it's like, what would people be doing out there right now in the middle of winter? And the buffalo, I feel like the buffalo aren't scared of these creatures.
That figure is just so tall.
Yeah, right? Like they're very large.
There was a video like similar to this, like not this one, but like I think it was maybe it was Colorado,
like, cherry jog too that it's doing. It's kind of adorable in a way.
There was like a similar video to this, like not this one, of course, but like he's kind of just shuffling along there. Of like a highway camera that was they just picked up. It was like the camera took like a snapshot like every 5 minutes or something like that. And there's like a couple frames where it looks like there's like a family of Bigfoot like just crossing or near the road. It was like a big thing for a while.
Oh,
I forget what it was, but it was some state had it because they eventually like took it and tried to make it into like their like highway mascot or something.
Oh, no way.
Highway Bigfoot video is Iowa, I guess.
If Bigfoot and his family are next to the highway, now I wonder what kind of damage would it do to your car if by some unfortunate reason it would collide with it.
Well, like anybody who's lived up north, like where there's moose, I believe a Bigfoot is bigger than a moose, and a moose can totally just demolish a car. So I can only assume that the same thing would happen with a car.
It would be something, all right.
Yeah. So Ty, another question that I do have for you is, I know you said that you don't really do the research, like the field research and everything, but let's say that you had unlimited resources and that you could do, let's say you could spend a year checking out Bigfoot or trying to find them. Where would you start and where would you pour those resources?
I think you definitely, if you're going to be researching Bigfoot, you have to go, the hot spot has to be the Pacific Northwest. Like that's got to be where you start. I don't think the wandering around the woods with a camera is like a viable means of research.
Yeah.
No.
Just imagine the amount of money you're going to spend in trail cams.
Right, exactly. Like I've always had this theory too, and I think I've seen a researcher like kind of address it once, where like these animals are so like advanced. I don't think they're just like simple primates. I think they have a lot more intellect, and they're a lot smarter in what we may give them credit for. I think they like actively like avoid humans, because there's a lot of Native American lore where the Bigfoot is this kind of like spirit of the woods, or this protector or guardian of nature. That's the way a lot of Native Americans see them. I think it would be smart enough to like kind of see what we as humans do to like animals and nature. Like we don't necessarily take the best care of like what nature we have. We kind of destroy and tear down and build up. I think it would be smart enough to like kind of avoid that. I think that's why we don't have a lot of interactions between Bigfoot and humans, aside from like the accidental like Bigfoot crossing a trail and just so happen someone snaps a picture, or maybe like the stuff down south where like it maybe is like just fed up with the way we behave and kind of going after people. But I think it's like smart enough to know to avoid us. So I think it would probably pick up on our scent and the way we move, and probably even like the cadence of our footsteps. I think it'd be it's that advanced at eluding us. Like it would just pick up on every detail of us approaching and just know to stay away from these things. I think it'd be hard. Like I know a lot of people tried like drones and things like that. A lot of people do like talk about doing the thermal drone footage of just like flying drones over the Pacific Northwest for thermal stuff. And there's a lot of theories too of like the Pacific Northwest just being filled with caves and caverns that these things may be using as just means of transportation or living or ways to elude and evade. I think it'd be hard. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you had unlimited resources, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. 'Cause
It is. I think you're kind of hitting it on the park, where it's like it would take a lot of time, and like just holding a camera and going through the woods probably isn't the best way about it. I think those trail cams, if you had unlimited resources, I would put a trail cam on every single tree, 360 on every single tree that I could find, up and down, and just to try to get something. Thermal imaging, I think that one would be tough too, because again, there's a lot of wildlife. And again, I could kind of compare this to like the ghost stuff, where it's like, all right, you kind of see like a thermal image. Is it a person? Is it a shadow? Like, what really is it? I think that's the kind of the same thing with thermal imaging. When you're kind of at a distance, that may not be the most practical piece of equipment or evidence. Now, again, if it's like right on top of you or like within probably like 25-50 meters, okay, yeah, it's probably going to make it out. But I feel like stuff with thermal imaging can just get kind of grainy and just not the best quality. I could be wrong. I guess I'm not an expert in the thermal imagery, but that's just my take on it. Drones, I think, I mean, if you had a bunch of operators, then yeah. You could cover a lot of distance with drones. The only problem I think with drones is that, again, we're talking high trees. So if you did see something, can you punch down into the tree line with drones? Maybe not.
And they're also loud enough where I think it'd be easy to like evade them. Like if Bigfoot is like as smart as like I like to give it credit for, I think it'd probably hear like those whirring engines and know that's at least not something natural.
I kind of like the idea of trying to get an idea where it's living or how it's moving. Like you mentioned, tunnels, caves, something like that. I think that might be a good way to try to find what his habits are, you know. Some maybe hotspots that we could just map out. I'm not talking about excavating, 6 feet of dirt, but just trying to see where it's coming out from, where it's disappearing, trying to cross-reference to see where his little hut might be.
That's actually a pretty good thing to talk about, Lily. I guess I wasn't aware of this. Ty, is in your research and in your book, do you talk about anything as far as like Bigfoot's living in caves and caverns? Because I guess just something in my mind, I guess I never put 2 and 2 together. I feel like it's one of these things where I thought Bigfoot laid down on the ground and just slept and just called it a day. I don't know.
I love that.
There is a lot of like people that find like in the Pacific Northwest, in particular, like these rock kind of structures that people will find, and like ridges and things like that. People find like these stick structures a lot that are kind of like TP type things. People find those now in Ohio. Talked about like the grass man. Another reason it has that name is because hunters will come across these like grass mounds in like fields where it looks like something has bedded down and like folded grass over to get underneath. So that's another reason it's called grass man, is because it's supposed to like bed down in tall grass.
Like a little mole. How cute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. So it's very interesting, like the living situation for Bigfoot. Because I don't think it lives. I mean, it could just. I mean, it is. I think it's just some sort of not some sort of animal, but I think it is an animal. And I mean, given the circumstances, I guess it probably could just lay in the ground. But I think they're also smart enough to build a structure and protect themselves from the elements and from us, keep themselves hidden. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that find Bigfoot structures. That's like a whole rabbit hole you can go down. These like intricate designs that people have found. Like some are like small little like tents, but others are like teepees that have kind of been crafted.
Interesting.
Just thinking about that reminds me of the totally off topic, but the movie called The Descent. When they go,
yes. Oh my God.
Oh, no, I hate that movie. That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Bad news.
Oh.
As a kid, it still scares me today.
That's true. That is true. But actually, speaking about films and movies, the Patterson-Gimlin film, what's your take on that, Ty?
It's untouchable. I mean, a lot of people like to disprove it. A lot of people like to claim it's undisprovable. But I mean, I don't think it'll ever be touched regardless. I think it's so infamous and synonymous with Bigfoot. Like, I have it tattooed on me. I have like the Bigfoot from
way.
Patterson-Gimlin.
I love this.
Yeah. Like, maybe it's fake. Maybe because there is a lot of stories that go around. I've met, I can't remember his name. It's either Patterson or Gimlin, whichever one's still alive. I've met them at like the Ohio Bigfoot conference here in Ohio, and he seemed like just a decent guy. He seemed like very, very humble, very just average dude. He didn't seem like dishonest, but there is like a ton of stories that go around of like them being just kind of like wannabe movie makers who were like, they sunk a bunch of money into this suit to make a movie, and when that all fell through, they just decided to film this video and put it out there. But yeah, to me, I mean, I don't really read into it too much, because it's one of those things that I don't know when the first time I saw the Patterson-Gimlin film was, but I know it's like resonated. Like, as far as I know, I was birthed and I saw the Patterson-Gimlin film, and it's been with me since then. Like, I can't remember when I first saw it, but I can't remember a time when I wasn't aware of the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's been around again forever. So I think it's one of those things where you kind of see it in passing. You don't really, know. Two things, Ty. First, could you have a picture of the tattoo? I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'll give you one.
Not to sound creepy or anything like that, but it's a Bigfoot tattoo. I gotta see it.
Hell yeah.
And then the second thing is that I don't know how much you're on Reddit, but in the Bigfoot subreddits, I can't tell you how many people, it's amazing what they can do with images in old film now, because it was so shaky. It just it was really hard to kind of tell what it is. But I don't know what they're using, but they've been able to stabilize each frame and make the outside of the frame moving, but it's able to keep Bigfoot perfectly still. when you're watching it like walk from like left to right. It's amazing. Have you seen that film, or have you seen
Yeah.
anything like that?
Yeah, it's like called like it's like stabilized or super stabilized, something like
Yeah.
that. I've seen that. I've seen so many videos of Paris Gimlin film where it's like you'll see like technology used to like just be like, this is unfakeable. It's like there's no way. But then you'll see the other videos where it's like, no, like this is moving here and it shouldn't be. Like it's insane, like the amount of effort that goes into either proving or disproving it.
Something I think that's always kind of talked about too is that if it's a male or a female Bigfoot, I know that's kind of like a talking piece too with that piece of film, is that a lot of people are like it's a female, a lot of people are like no, it's a male. Personally, I don't know.
I've always heard female because like I guess the press is what like, people always get fixated on. Have you guys ever heard like the conspiracy theories of like the Patterson Gimlin film?
No.
Oh no.
So there are some like there's a pretty dark conspiracy theory around the Patterson Gimlin film. So when it opens up and you see the Bigfoot walking away, if you look in the creek, if you watch the whole video, the whole thing, not just the short clip goes around. In the creek, you can see what looks to be like blood in the water. Like it looks like there's blood running down the stream. It's like a red tint to the water, and of course that could be anything, minerals or it's a red oak forest. Could be just reflection of the forest. But there's a theory that someone claims that there is a much larger video. That what we see is just a very small portion of an entire video, which shows Patterson and Gimlin with a group who find a family of Sasquatch grazing, and they commence to killing them.
Oh no.
Massacring these Sasquatch. And what you see is the one that they got away, that one that got away, because there's even in the video, there's a sound. It's like a small pop. To me, I've always it's just something with the film. It's an old camera, it's film reel, but there is a pop, like a suppressed pop in it. And the idea is there that it's someone taking a shot and it just kind of walks away. But the idea, the concept, the conspiracy theory is that Patterson Gimlin murdered an entire family of Bigfoot, and this is the one that got away.
Oh my God.
That's horrible. So
Yeah,
first
absolutely.
off, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Like I said, I met this guy, and like he didn't seem like the kind of guy who would go and massacre an entire species of undiscovered creatures. But that's like the theory. And like there's people have claimed that this video has been locked away because it's like definitive. It's horrific. It's like a genocide of these creatures. But it's a wild conspiracy. I only heard about it just recently. I did like a conspiracy theory iceberg, and that was one of the ones on there.
Mm-hmm.
That conspiracy, I don't know if I could get behind that.
Me personally, I don't know.
Because I mean, like, isn't the whole reason like you think that if they did do that, why wouldn't they keep any of their remains?
Right, if they're going to release a video,
exactly,
why not be like, oh, here's a Bigfoot head to go along with it?
Not the feet, not the hands. Here's the head.
Yeah. Like an old West bounty hunter. They just bring it in.
Exactly. As far as let's take a kind of like a step to the side real quick. Which cryptids besides Bigfoot do you think is most likely to be real? I know we've talked a lot about Bigfoot, and we'll get back to that, but other cryptids, what do you think?
I think like Nessie is one that's always resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
The sad thing about Nessie is like I think, and a lot of people have kind of noted this, is like there was at one point like a big moment where a lot of people were seeing Nessie in like the 60s, 70s, and now it's kind of like no one sees Nessie. Kind of the idea has always been like it's this kind of sad creature that was landlocked, last of its species, and unfortunately lying somewhere at the bottom of Loch Ness. That always resonated with me. I think the aquatic cryptids speak to me so much because how little we know about our oceans. I know that's like very cliched, like the whole like we know more about space than we do about the ocean, but I mean it's a fact. I mean it is cliche, but it is a fact. But I mean we don't know what's down there, so like I think any kind of cryptid in the ocean or any sort of aquatic cryptid always holds a certain amount of weight to me, because it'd be so hard to disprove one way or the other if it is real or not.
speaking of Nessie, a while back, this was probably like, maybe like 2 years ago, we did an episode and we had talked about Nessie, but one of the co-hosts had brought up, and again, this is a couple of years ago, so I might be speaking wrong here, where the actual lake is. I believe it actually is connected to the sea in some sort of way.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's like very like little like a river or something, like some sort of small waterway.
Yes, yeah, I think like in some sort of way, like it is connected to the sea. Long story short, from what I remember, the reason why the co-host brought that up was because it gave Nessie the ability to come in and out of the lake, and that's why there's not very much evidence right now, is because it's just not in the lake or whatever. Again, I'll have to do some digging in this. I feel like I'm totally butchering it right now, but again,
That's very
that
interesting though.
yeah, it is kind of an interesting concept. But I would say too, Ty, that's very correct with the sea is so large, and we're I see posts every day on Reddit, or probably once a week, about a new creature that they found, or I think it was just the first or one of the very few giant squid videos. It's that had just come out recently. So there's that, and it's okay, we have all this technology, but it's only just been recently that we've been able to capture something like that. And it's so dark down there, and the pressure, and there's all these factors working against us, that there really could be just monsters living down there, and we don't know.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I know, right?
some of the videos you'll see online, I mean, of just people seeing things in even the USOs are a big thing, the unidentified submerged objects.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a theory that's really gotten a lot of ground here in the last few years. And I for one think it's a fascinating concept of not so much these flying objects above us, but as the cliche goes, we know more about space than we do about our oceans. What about the idea of these underwater facilities or cities or civilizations being so deep down there that we don't even know, and these things kind of coming in and out of the water? That's fascinating to me. But yeah, any sort of aquatic creature, just that really resonates with me and just really draws me in. The lake monsters, here in Ohio we have Bessie. That's our lake monster. She's Lake Erie up north.
Bessie, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
So Bessie is because we have the Great Lakes above us, Lake Erie. So there's all kinds of strange disappearances and things like that. We have ghost. It's a massive lake. It's not a small lake by any means. It's part of the Great Lakes Triangle.
Yep.
Which is a landlocked version of the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh,
I mean, ships just go missing in Lake Erie because it is massive. It's a huge body of water.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the sea serpent, Lake Bessie, who's our lake serpent.
So that kind of brings up the next question that I have for you, and you might have just answered it right there. Is what is a lesser known cryptid that you think deserves more attention?
I'll tell you, because it's an Ohio cryptid. I think it's wild. It's I'm fully immersed in the world of cryptozoology. So I on the Reddit, I'm on the forums, I'm in books and movies and documentaries. I love these things. And you always got Bigfoot, the lake monsters, Chupacabra, Jersey Devil, Mothman, Dogman, all these things.
I love the Chupacabra.
Yeah, those are so interesting.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it was in an X-File episode, and I've been in love with the cryptid ever since. It's such a fascinating story, and I really love how they went through the whole legend in the X-File episode. Love it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, there's a very interesting tie. Have you ever seen the movie Species?
No.
From the 90s? Have you guys ever seen that? Okay. It's a 90s creature feature, very good. The guy who designed the xenomorphs from Aliens, he designs the creature from Species. Ooh. It's super cool looking.
Really?
Yeah. H.R. Giger. So he did the design for Xenomorphs. So he did design for Species. It's an amazing movie. I watched when I was way too young because all that movie is, all it is a attractive alien female having sex with guys, killing them.
Oh shit!
And birthing alien babies, proceeding to sleep with another man, kill him, birth other babies.
That's pretty metal and aspirational.
My dad had that. I had that on VHS tape. Yeah, it's very good. It's super good. It like went to theaters. It's a great movie. I could talk about that for another 15 minutes or so, but I won't. But there's an interesting theory with that, because the creature in Species is basically the chupacabra, and so the first sighting of the chupacabra reported is 1995. That's when it was first reported in Puerto Rico.
See, I thought it was earlier than that. Damn.
There are some little legends of like creatures similar to it, but the first time it was ever like widespread, identified as chupacabra, and the descriptions came out, was 1995. So it's a very like recent creature.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is the woman who first reported it, I forget her name, but she was watching a movie with her mother. She stepped outside, she saw this thing, she came back in, told her mother she just saw the devil. The movie they were watching at the time was Species.
Oh,
wow.
It's a very interesting theory
interesting.
that maybe it was some sort of like, misidentification, or it's super interesting when you read about it, but it's wild. But anyways, the lesser known cryptid I think people should pay more attention to. It's you have all these major cryptids, but the one we have here in Ohio that I have never seen anywhere else, like no one has anything like it, is called the Loveland frog. Are you guys familiar?
It sounds very familiar.
Not at all.
Okay, so the Loveland frog, it was spotted in the 60s. I think there was 3 sightings of it. And what the Loveland frog is it's a 3-foot tall humanoid frog creature that has a magic wand.
What?
The police officer who spotted it claimed that he saw this humanoid frog run across the road. It leaped over a guardrail, and all the while it flicked this magic wand in the air while it did it. So
This is such a ridiculous.
it's awesome. Like there's we have the Loveland Frog Festival. It's in its 3rd year here in Ohio, and I go to it every year. It started out as like a small thing inside of a hotel conference room, and now it takes over like the entire town of Loveland. It's an awesome thing. It's fun. It's an Ohio cryptid. Like we have Bigfoot, we have Bessie, we have Mothman, we have Dogman, we have all these mainstream cryptids, but then we have the very punk Loveland frog that's our own. It's like the underground.
I love this. When is the next festival? Because I'm making a trip to Ohio.
It is in March. Yeah, it's every year in March.
Oh my
you
God,
guys
it's happening.
It is amazing.
Please tell me everybody dresses up as a frog, please.
They do. They have the frog man run around.
I love this so much.
And I went to the very first one, and the very first one was kind of lame because it was small, and then it was hosted by MetaZoo, that card game that got canceled a few years last year.
Oh, okay.
But that was like the host of it, so it was like big card game thing or something.
Yeah.
But it was so awesome because all the vendors and artists. So the second year they did it, it was much more focused on the Frogman, and much more vendors and artists came. And it in the 3rd year, which was this year, it grew out of the hotel. So now it's in Loveland. It takes over the town. It's the Loveland Frog Festival.
This is hilarious. I went on the City of Loveland website just to do some quick Googling here. And I'm so glad to hear that it's actually happening every year, because the last update I could find is the event will be held on leap years only. See you again in 2028? That was going to break my heart.
No
so thank you so much
What?
for letting me know it's every year.
I will have. If that is
That
true,
would be
I'm heartbroken.
devastating.
I am heartbroken. Yeah. Because I this year I'm going to sign up to be a vendor. Like I want to be like a vendor there for my to have something to vend there. So I want to vend at that. But in Ohio, anyways, we have so many we have like a small town Monsters Fest. There's a very big like documentarian. He has this company called Small Town Monsters, and if you go to like their YouTube, it is insane. Like they put out like weekly documentaries. Like it's not small. Like they have this like it's an actual like production company. They put out some of the best cryptid films you ever see, and they put out weekly cryptid TV series. They have a cryptid TV series that focuses on Bigfoot. They have one that focuses on aliens, and like these are like not YouTube videos. They're like production and quality. Like it is insane. And they put on Small Town Monsters Fest every year up north, and it's huge. Like it's like the cryptid fest. So you have things like that.
Is so cool.
Down in West Virginia, right over the bridge from Ohio, we have Mothman Fest.
Yes.
You guys familiar with
Yep.
Mothman?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that is insane. Like I've been there twice, and it's overwhelming. Like it's the amount of people that pack into this little town for that weekend is insane. Like forget having cell service, like because it's a small town of I think just like a couple hundred people, like on an average day, and then the population like is like 20-30 times that for this weekend, and it is insane. Like bring your own water, bring your own food, because there's like no chance of you getting any of that while you're there. Like it's wild.
That story about the Mothman is pretty fascinating too. We might have to do our own episode on it because I don't think we have yet. Just a little snippet is this is in again. I think this is from watching Unsolved Mysteries, but there was like I think like a couple like weeks or days where it was just harassing people nonstop, and then the bridge within the town like totally collapsed, and that was like the last time they saw the Mothman. But there's been sightings like every once in a while since then. But I think the big thing was that the Mothman was like spotted like on the bridge, or like something like that right before it collapsed, and like they were like, okay, he was, or I guess the Mothman, she doesn't know, doesn't matter. was the cause behind like the collapse of the bridge. Yeah,
it's often been like theorized he either caused it or he was like a harbinger.
Yep.
Like the two theories, but there's a good if you guys have seen Mothman Prophecies.
Yes.
With Richard Gere, that's a pretty good movie.
It is.
Some friends of mine did a podcast with the director of that, and they had him as like,
so cool.
The Moth Boys, that's what their podcast called. They had him on as a guest, and he like basically alluded to the idea of him doing a sequel. So that was exciting. But
was that recently like a possibility? Was okay, wow.
Yeah, I think it was like last year, because it was like a big like Mothman special they did for like the anniversary. But yeah, he like alluded to the idea that he would be making a sequel. So
that'd be badass.
Oh yeah.
There's a Frogman movie, by the way, if you guys want to check that out on it's on Prime. It's decent. It's I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but it's a fun movie. It's a found footage flick. I have like opinions on found footage. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but it's all right. They actually show the monster, which that's always appreciated.
Hey.
All right, it's that time of the episode, listeners. If you want us to do a watch along of the Frogman movie, you know what to do. And I'll add on top of that, I'll sweeten the deal. All right, if you want us to make an appearance next year at the Frogman Festival in Loveland, Ohio, you know what to do. Put your comments, put your likes in.
That's awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm going anyway. It's a 2-hour trip. I'm going next year.
It's awesome.
I think we got time for one more question. And I think it's a good one to kind of end the show with. It's how do you respond to skeptics that may say Bigfoot isn't real, or some of these cryptids, may not be real?
I've never really paid much mind. So, because I mean, myself, like, I don't know what it is about the way I was wired or built, but like, I don't really have a skeptic bone in my body, I guess. Like, I guess I'm just always eager to believe, because I like the idea of belief. I'm not a religious person. I don't have like beliefs in that sense, but like my beliefs are like in these fantastical, mythical legends that just have transcended time and cultures and different generations. Like, that is what's always stuck out to me. I find people that are skeptics, maybe they just don't have that imagination, because I've always looked at cryptids and aliens, things like that. Like, yes, I believe in these things like wholeheartedly, but I don't know if even if I didn't necessarily believe in like if I don't necessarily believe in like the Loveland Frog or Mothman, if I didn't have beliefs in these things, like, I think I would just embrace them anyways, because I just like the idea of us not knowing everything.
It's kind of, whimsical, don't take everything so seriously.
Absolutely,
it's a damn frog, man. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah. like just believe. Like I think that's, like I said, X-Files, my favorite shows of all time,
Mhm.
and Fox Mulder, one of my favorite characters of all time. He has a poster in his office, and it's "I want to believe."
Yes.
And
yeah.
I think that can be interpreted in a few ways. Like it's like, oh, I want to believe in it. Like sure, you can interpret that way, but I've always interpreted it as like, I want to believe. You know, I want to believe. Like it doesn't matter if I believe in these things or not. Like I want to believe in these things. Like I choose to believe in Bigfoot. I choose to believe in aliens because that's just, I find that fascinating. I don't like the idea of us knowing everything. I don't think we're the smartest beings in the galaxy or the world or wherever you may see this reality as. And I think there are things we don't understand. I think cryptids are just the embodiment of that.
That is a
I
great
love that.
answer. Yeah, that is really good.
Thank you.
I don't think we could have really put it any better. So, you know, Ty, thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Again, audience members, got his book coming out, Monstrous, June 10th. Ebook, pre-order it if you would like to. Talks about the Bigfoot Yeti. I'm sure it goes way more into depth about things than we had time to talk about today. But Ty, is there anything that you want to tell our audience members or anything before we sign off?
Yeah, just Monstrous comes out June 10th, paperback and ebook. Myself, I'm a physical media connoisseur, so the paperback is my preferred version of it, but I know some people are minimalists or like to keep things digital, so the ebook will be there as well. All that comes out June 10th. You can pre-order the ebook. Paperback isn't available for pre-order because just the way Amazon works. Check out TYALEXANDERWRITES.COM. That's where you can kind of keep up to date on my writing. The sequel is already in the works, so I have that going.
Nice.
Other projects I'm kind of kicking around as well. I will be appearing at some cryptid conventions here soon. Check out Cult Talk Conspiracy if you want. It's a podcast I did for a while, and it's got a lot of stuff on there as well. It's kind of where I really honed my ability to write, you know, writing, research, things like that. So I credit that for just where I am today with my writing. But yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on. This has been fantastic. Like, I mean that. Like, I've been on a lot of podcasts as of late promoting this book, but this is by far my favorite one.
Hey,
you guys are
Awesome.
professionals. Yeah,
Love to
absolutely.
hear it.
We really appreciate it. We really do, Ty. And audience members, I feel like a terrible host. I didn't even introduce Lily at the beginning of the show. Lily.
Oh, hi.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everyone gathered that, but yeah, audience members, if you liked what you heard, just go check out everything that Ty has to offer. And again, if you liked what you heard, check out some of our other episodes. And just remember, we don't want stuff that's normal. We want stuff that's effing weird.